Something as a club, I came to Burnley 2 years ago. They had a difficult situation. Tom was injured. Nick was coming back from a pretty tough shoulder injury. I talked to the manager and we talked as men. I played against Sean. He respected the game, what I've done in it, and what I was coming to do with hunger and desire and fight. And regardless of how it looked, I performed well when I played for Burnley. But due to the run of form and the situation the club were in, he told me he needed to just do something, and he put Tom in. And the form turned round. The defenders started defending really well and got back to how Burnley maybe identify with the way they play. And then obviously looked to leave in the summer. Nothing came about that I wanted to do. And then it was all about being professional, all about being organised and getting myself to this moment in the best condition I can be in. Maybe from the outside world it doesn't look perfect, but it's kind of always been part of the plan.
It didn't take me long to find Celtic, West Brom, Derby as clubs that you've been linked with. Clearly you've played abroad. I'm sure that there'll be other clubs that you're linked with. What is the plan, and are you completely open-minded about what you want to do next?
I've put myself, like I said before, in a position where there's not many places that haven't heard of me as a goalkeeper, haven't heard of me of what I can do. So I'd like to think that I'm always going to have those links, but I know strongly, and I strongly believe that I can play at the top level. But obviously football's about politics. It's not necessarily about abilities, so I understand that maybe getting to the place that I'd want to be is going to be difficult, but I'm going to put myself and give myself the best opportunity to play at the highest level possible. And when I do get that chance, I'm going to be ready.
Where do you want to be?
I don't have a specific place. I don't have I like to say I've played abroad, loved it, played many, many different countries when I've played for my country. I obviously enjoy playing in England, but Premier League's a tough nut to crack in terms of finding a number one spot, and I think the positions at the moment, everyone's got pretty strong first team and second choice goalkeepers, and as I say, it's not necessarily about matching yourself up against them ability wise, but it's about positioning, contracts that they've already got at the club, standing that they have at the club. So I'm very understanding of that, but I'm open-minded. I've got a good team around me. I'm willing to have conversations with anyone who really believes in me. That's all I need. I need someone to believe in me, and I'll repay that faith.
You're younger than Edwin van der Sar was when he joined Manchester United, and he went on to win 3 league titles with them and the European Cup as well. So there's still plenty to aim for.
Look, there's so much to aim for, and what Edwin did, is great for kind of older goalkeepers, if you like. But I still don't even put myself in that bracket. I'm 33, but I've had, like you say, 18 months without playing games. I feel great, I feel fresh. I've already got so much in the bank in terms of experience, medals, England caps, and I just want to add to it. I want to use it, I want to use all that knowledge, I want to use everything that I've learnt and also bring it to the physical game and play out on the field with it.
It's only 4 years, I think, since you won the Premier League with Manchester City. It's 4 years since you played in the Champions League semi-final, I think, with Manchester City, and less than 3 years since you played for England. Are you reflective about what's happened? Is your confidence shaken? How do you feel about the way that your career has kind of gone since then?
Well, it's definitely not been perfect. It's certainly not. I had a rise from maybe 2009 onwards. It was just such a steady progression, reaching heights, as you say there, winning leagues, playing for my country, Champions League semi-final, which the club's never done and hasn't done. I'm playing a really important role in those, but football's just kind of got this way of levelling things out, and I appreciate that. And it's something that I talk about. I'm pretty open about how consistent effort, mindset, you control the controllables. The manager came in at Manchester City where I was doing the majority of my winning, if you like, and he didn't want me at that club anymore. So that is what it is. I turned my sights to trying to get the most and best out of myself in slightly difficult situations. Having to go on loan as an older player isn't perfect. It's hard for a club to embrace you, and it's hard to embrace a club. But I tried my best to do that. And I've always consistently loved the game of football, and that's still not changed. So I'm still in that moment. I'm still ready to go. I still feel like I can achieve those things and add to the, already many great things that I've achieved in football, but I don't feel like that's the end. I don't feel like that's going to define me. I feel like there's plenty more to come.
I know you spoke very recently on the BBC in terms of mental health and all this analysis, but you're also in a position that is more out there, I suppose, than any other on the football field. You're scrutinised, goalkeepers are scrutinised more. As you've got older, does that affect you more, or do you find it harder to deal with, or are you able to kind of keep that all to one side, really?
I think it's really interesting how my role in that documentary and working with the Prince was translated, if you like, because the reason I did it and the reason I speak so strongly about mental health is not because I feel like I'm mentally, in a bad place. I feel it's something that I really enjoy talking about. I enjoy seeing the positive side of things. Mental health, there's two sides to mental health. There's obviously the deep, dark depths, or as we talk about, the early steps of, going the wrong way. And there's also the really positive side of mental health. There's being able to turn a situation on its head, being able to see the positive side, seeing the cup half full. And that was more what the message that I'm trying to get across. You could look at me from the outside and look at the position, the heights that I've been at, and potentially from the outside the lows that I could be in now because my football's not going great. But it's just not the case. I feel good. I feel like every day I put myself in the best position I can be. I train to play. I turn up for the games expecting to play even when I'm not picked on the sheet, because it's a positive attitude. And it's something that I've worked on for years and something that I'm proud of working on. It's something that I want to pass on to other players, because when I talk to younger players, if a bunch of under-12s from a football team get the chance to talk to me and ask me about the game of football, I know what I'd have asked. I'd be asking about, I remember when you saved a penalty against Messi, what's it like playing for your country? All they care about now is how do you deal with a mistake? How do you deal with someone taunting you from behind the goal? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. That's not what your mindset should be as a kid. I don't remember even contemplating the negative side of football till I was at least 28. And I see nowadays that a 10-year-old could be affected by what someone else thinks when they're just literally kicking a ball around. So that's why I got involved in it, and that's why I talked about it. And I was a little bit disappointed in the fact that I put myself out there to speak about the positive side of it. And as a headline or something to look at, it looks like I'm someone who is talking about how tough it can be. If anything, I'm putting a spin on it, and it's something that I'm doing today. I've got the guys here today for a channel that I talk about, the positive side to being ready to move forward, being ready to roll with the punches and finding the best way.
Is that something that's natural to you? Because I read that in the interview you did around the programme, that you are a positive person, that you believe in positivity and yourself and always looking forward. But is that something that you have to remind yourself, or is it something that you were just born with? That's natural to you?
I must be born with it, because I scratch my head at how some things can get flipped. I remember who I am. I remember being from Shrewsbury, playing for my local Sunday League team, from trying to get into the Shrewsbury Town first team. I remember those steps. So, when we talked about it earlier, when you talk about the fact that I was playing, a pretty important role in a Champions League semi-final. My last England cap was against Brazil, drawing 0-0 at Wembley in front of 90,000 people. I know where I came from, and I know how big an achievement that is. So the fact that I've had to sit on the bench for 18 months in the Premier League, it's not going to define me. It's not going to crush me. It's just, I need to take a different avenue. I need to dust myself off and go again.
But you were, I kind of make it, part of 6 Manchester City players who were the bedrock of a side that has changed the fortunes of that football club. David Silva is about to leave. Pablo Zabaleta, Vincent Kompany, Yaya Toure have already left. Sergio Aguero, presumably next season or the season after. They've all gone out almost in a blaze of glory. you've not been afforded that at Manchester City. Is that a disappointment, or is that something that will come back, do you think?
You say that, but there's a blaze of glory, and all those players you talk about deserve everything they get when it comes to testimonials or whatever they're going to do for them. But I live in this area, I live around here, and Manchester City is supposedly one of the greatest clubs and strongest clubs in the world. And every single Manchester City fan or fan in Manchester, people that I see on a daily basis, treat me with the greatest respect that I could ever dream of being treated for by anyone. And that's supposedly the top club. So in terms of getting a testimonial and a great send-off, no, I didn't get that. But the way that I'm treated by the people that matter, the fans, the people of the club, the people that are still there, that have been there since I was there, there's no better feeling, there's no greater way to be treated than I am by those people.